can never remember, lads, a game dividing opinion so much between people who genuinely thought Ireland played brilliantly last night and it was a hugely encouraging performance and we're on our way and things, you know, a corner's been turned and all that sort of stuff. And others who just thought it was, you know, Damien, I'm going to come to you in a minute, the worst performance under Stephen Kenny. Now, I don't know whether that's just me sitting here with you two, but why did that game cause such a divergence of opinion in your view?
I don't know. The people who had a different opinion than us mustn't have been watching the matches carefully as we were. I mean, the Serbian team dominated the game. And I have to say, I disagree with Stephen. When the draw was made, Serbia had finished third in their qualification group for the Euros. They'd lost 4 matches in the group, the same as us, and they were beaten by Scotland in the playoff. So they weren't a world-class team before this group started. We all expected that we'd be in with a scrap, probably with Serbia, unlikely with Portugal, for at least the second place. He sounds like he wrote it off before he started. Now, on the game last night, they beat us well over there, 3-2. They took off 2 of their better players when it was 3-1. They were protecting them for the next match, which I think was Portugal. And we got a late goal and dressed it up a little bit. It looked like 3-2. Stephen claimed in that one that we should have had a penalty to make it 2-0, but they should have had a penalty to make it 1-1 before that. Anyway, last night, I thought they were totally in control. Once they got through the first 5 or 10 minutes, they moved the ball around at ease and almost like it was leisurely to them. At times, Damien said to me, it was a bit like a training session where one team has been passive, allowing the other team to run the game. Gavin Bazunu was our best player by miles. The other defensive players did well because they were on the back foot and they were having to make blocks and headers and saves. They completely dominated the game until the last few minutes. And then the crowd got behind the team. The crowd are sitting there to watch. There was silence in the stadium for long periods of the game. I remember commenting at the time, is it really as quiet as that? And then the crowd kind of went, well, we're after paying £100 in here. We might as well give it a go. And they got behind the team for the last quarter of an hour. They started shouting and roaring. The team responded. They missed a big chance on 84 minutes where they had a 4-2 situation. Bazunu make a save. We go up the pitch. And we know what happened after that. Robinson puts the ball in the box. And then we had a little spell at the end where Duffy had a header from a crossover. And Omar Bamadadi got up there and did that fabulous run and shot. But on the play in the game, they dominated possession. They had lots and lots of shots and half chances. And our goalkeeper helped us to survive. And that's part of the game, Tommy. That's okay. If your goalkeeper's very good, that's why, you know, some teams, some clubs pay absolute fortunes for goalkeepers for those moments in the match when he rescues points for them. Same situation. We've had a series of very good goalkeepers. Darren Randolph has been discarded. Bazunu was
you're sticking to your interpretation of it. Damien, I mean, come to you as well. I mean, I don't know whether maybe people at the stadium...
But I'm happy, John, Tommy, that they got a good result. And the result is a result, and then you don't whinge too much after it. You know, you kind of say, well, we got a result, but as coaches and as technical people and people that look at the game, you have to analyse it overall and say, what does it say about where we are? And if we were playing Serbia again next week, how would it be? That, you can't just say the result, that's grand.
I wonder, the people who are viewing it as positive, Damien, are they looking at the young players who came through, the fact that finally a bit of luck maybe fell Ireland's way, and that people are just crying out? I mean, first time really Saturday and this evening, a crowd in the Aviva for a bit of positivity. They want something good to happen, and maybe it's a bit of wishful thinking. I mean, do you stick to your own interpretation of what you saw last night? Well, which you said it was the worst performance on the team.
Yeah, and I think it stands up. I think that, first of all, to address your point, it is polarising. And the reason it's polarising is both sets of people are right. It just depends how you view the situation. Stephen Kenny is quite correct to point out it's 1 defeat in 6. It's also quite correct to point out it's 1 win in 8. Right? It's not been good enough. We've 2 points after 5 games. We've not been good enough. I don't buy his line that he just gets to write this off and finish bottom of the group, because if we lose to Azerbaijan, we're bottom of the group going into the last 3 games, okay? So it's very, very difficult to accept that. You don't just get to discard results. You have to blood young players, change the direction, but also results have to be kept in mind. And I said that last night and I stand by that. I stand by also the fact that it was the worst performance. But I'm delighted he got it. I was happy last night that he got the draw.
Would you not say England at Wembley, Bulgaria...
OK, Listen,
performance.
okay, let me just say.
Luxembourg at home.
In every game that he's had in his 16 games, we've had something in the game. We've had periods of dominance, we've created chances, we've pressed, we've looked competent at points in games. Last night, we had nothing. We got battered from pillar to post from the first minute to the 88th minute when we scored, and then we had a little flurry with Omar Bailey's shot. But I'm just saying, I mean, I know it sounds terrible to say it's the worst performance. I did say that I was delighted he got the result. But in terms of the performance, if you look at all of Stephen's 16 games and you blot out the results and you just look at the performances, right? That was probably the poorest we've played. He would admit that. You can't say that. I mean, even against Luxembourg, there was chances we should have won it. We were in the game, OK? So I stand by that. I think that's...
Maybe aside from England, the best team, though, we played, does that have to be borne in mind as well, that we were outclassed by better players and a better team? Team playing at a much higher level than our players?
Well, they played. A lot of their players are playing at mid-ranking. I mean, Tadic is the outstanding player, I think, and Mitrovic. Tadic is playing with Ajax. Ajax are the club who generally make the Champions League, get beaten along the way, where it's in the group stage. I know they got semi-final Spurs a few years ago, but Tadic isn't that a top club in terms of European football. Mitrovic is at Fulham. Damien went through his career and assessed it very well in the last couple of days. A lot of the teams that are mid-ranking teams in some very good leagues. I accept that. Are they better than Portuguese team? Portuguese team have done more. As Stephen pointed out before we played them, they won the European Championships and they won the Nations League. So they're more consistent in terms of what they do, and we played well over there. But Serbia was certainly very good last night. But that doesn't you know, when did we get to a situation where we're playing at home to a team in Dublin that we kind of give up on it and say, well, Serbia are too good for us, we don't take them on? We've always had an ability in Dublin against the top teams, and go back even when we Trapattoni's time and Martin's time, and the night we beat Germany and so on, they were a really, really top side with top players. We were able to do it, irrespective of the players, and you could say we had better players then. It's a less mature team now, a lot of players, but that's by Stephen's choice as well. He has decided to go the road of picking younger players.
Well, let's get into that.